Hey everybody, it's Matthew, and many of you know I am really into time management and organization and making our businesses work better. And so I've got a whole bunch of videos and tutorials out there for you to go check out. This video is about a lesser known resource in Zipforms that I personally think is one of the most powerful parts of Zipforms. I know you don't think Zipforms and you think time management, but if you're using templates and checklists in there, it could change your whole world and how you engage your transactions. So let's jump in there and take a look at what it does. Hey everybody, I'm going to go ahead and I'm logged into Zipforms now, and we're going to create a new transaction. This is going to be a new listing. I just got the appointment for my fake training listing. So I'm going to say this is 123 Somewhere Street. It's a training listing. And if I wanted to, and this will do these in other videos, I can pull MLS Connect. If it's already in MLS, I can just click on this, enter the MLS. It'll populate all this stuff for me. But I am going to go ahead and do this one from scratch again, as if I just got the listing appointment. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on residential. I'm going to pull in a photo for the listing. This will be an active listing, and I'm going to choose a template. And on the template, you'll see in this category, global are templates that was created by the brokerage, personal are templates that I personally have created for my account. And I'm going to go through and show you how to do that in a bit. But I'm going to choose new listing template. I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and it's going to pull in and start a new platform. And again, I could go here to MLS and enter MLS number, it'll populate it, or I can go to RPR. If it's a property that is not yet listed, I can pull in data there. We'll do those videos in the future. I've already applied a template when I started it up, and just for training purposes for this video, I'm going to go here to listing date and enter today is today's listing. Now, this is an important part. This listing date is going to tell my template when to start some of the dates and items on the checklist that need to be done in response to whatever date, whether it's getting a new contract or listing date or whatever. So today is the 11th of October. Notice that in here in Zipforms, it starts year, month, and date first if you wanted to just type it in without going through the calendar. I'm going to go pick that date, hit save. Now, when I go over to look at this, if I did not apply a template when I started the new transaction room or room, I can go to apply template and add a new template or change the template if there's another one. So if this is the same room as my listing and I get a contract, I can now go apply a second checklist for contracts if I've created one. So I'm going to go ahead and then go over here to checklists. Now, when I click on checklist, you'll notice that a calendar comes up. This calendar, I'm going to go click on calendars. This is a calendar view of what's coming up. And because in my checklist, which I will go through and show you in a minute, I have chosen certain activities to occur 1 day after listing and 2 days after listing, etc. You can see here that I've got in blue the listing date for this particular transaction, and then the tasks that need to be done and the dates in which they need to be done relative to the day of the listing. And I can hover over them. I can go ahead and change to the saying this is in progress, and I can go ahead and edit this if I want to add something else to it or it needs to be done a different way, or if I want to assign it to somebody else in the transaction. Let's say I have a transaction coordinator or an assistant. My client may have responsibilities. I can do that. I can add documents that pertain to this particular task, etc. And so now I've got these here. The other way to look at this will be through checklist and a traditional checklist account. Notice that there is an offer date, data contract, listing date, because those dates trigger activities in my checklist. And I can just go ahead and say, okay, I need to create an Evernote room because that's how I track this listing. I can just go and say that's actually done. I've completed that, and then of course it'll show it in green and done. It showed me who was responsible to do it. Did I upload any documents related to that? And then I assign a due date. And if I'm assigning this task again to a transaction coordinator, I can drop down, choose a transaction coordinator and say this needs to be done, and I'd like it to be done by the 14th. Hit save, and now a person has this task to complete. And I've got different categories, and again, I'll show you how to create these. You can edit your template, so if there's something unique to this property, you can add additional things that need to be done for you, yourself, or for a team member or transaction coordinator. And then the last version, this is 3 versions of the same thing, is board. So if you like Trello, for example, you can actually move things around, and just drop them to where they are in process in the transaction. I can also set statuses for them, change due dates for them, etc. Okay, so that's the transaction. The other part you're going to see is documents. I can add documents either from Zipforms or upload my personal documents for templates, so they're there for every single transaction. So if there's a form or something I like personally that isn't a standard form, I can go ahead and throw it in there. If I want to rearrange whatever, I can put it in that zip room as well, and then apply templates and do all the rest here. So I'm going to show you how to create those in a second. I do want to show you up here in tasks. The top, this is universal. This is for all of my boards, not just that one transaction. And when I go to tasks and monthly view, I will see all the tasks that need to be done under my responsibility, because that's what I've chosen in my board. So you'll notice here, everything shows up. When I'm in the transaction room, only things related to that transaction room shows up. If I have multiple transactions going, this calendar will show me all the due dates and different processes for this. When I choose tasks up here, I can also choose other calendars. By default, and for this training account, I have Zipforms chosen so that it just stays internally. But I can connect my Google Calendar or my Office 365 calendar so that it actually populates those calendars with tasks to be done every day to keep me on track of my business. It is up to you what your choice is. For me, again, because it's a training account, I leave it just in the Zipforms calendar, which means I have to log into Zipforms to manage this. No big deal. It happens to be okay with me. But you could put it in your Google Calendar or 365 if you wished as well. All right, so how do we get there? So again, this blue bar up here is our global access to everything. So I'm going to click on templates, and you'll notice that I have a few templates here. These are my personal templates that I've created. And I'm going to go to, in this case, new listing. This is a template that I've created just for me to use. These are unique to me about what forms and things you want to use. So for example, I have an open household harmless statement that I have tweaked, and it's just a regular PDF. So if I want to add something to this template so that anytime I apply the template, that form is there, I can also delete or rearrange or move things in the order I want them to be in so that they're universal to every time that I apply this. I'm also going to go over here to parties, where you'll see I've got a card for myself here. When I open that up and I add my name, my MLS ID, my license number, company name, all this, then anytime in any form I'm creating where it calls for that information, it'll automatically populate it. So this is a really good thing to go to parties in this template, fill out all your information, and make sure you can add your transaction coordinator or assistants or teammates or whomever here so that by default they're always available in that template. And then again, the documents, just like you would add something from Zipforms, I can pull it from the library there, upload my own PDFs, whatever. And then I can go over here to checklists. And checklists these is where you create that universal checklist for the template you're applying. And so I've added things for me, like I'm going to create an Evernote for each listing. I'm going to create a DTR room. I Google the seller. This is all my pre-listing tasks. To create these by categories, to keep them nice and organized, I'm going to click on new category, name my new category. Notice that there's already one there. Or I can go down here to the bottom and add another one as well. So that creates the different categories of activities that need to be done. If I want to create something new to the checklist, I'm going to go to the category I created. This is the pre-listing meeting checklist. This is the checklist for after I've got the listing, and I'm going to create a new task. When I create a new task, I'm going to name that task. Let's say this is submit DTR room to broker. And this is going to go under the category for executed listing agreement. You can create a new category here as well. And it's got a fixed date, either none. I'll just get to it whenever I get to it. Don't remind me or put it on my calendar. A fixed date is just a date certain in the future. I don't find this very useful personally for creating templates, but it would be useful if you were actually using an existing template and adding something to it. And then I can go to relative. Relative means from the date of whatever. So notice there's a number of dates here. So if you recall, when I went to the room and created it, I made a point of saying, I'm going to set today as the listing date. That is going to trigger this activity so that 3 days after the actual listing date, this task, submit DTR to room to the broker, is going to be my duty. I'm the listing agent, so I'm going to click this. Notify me. Yep, email me and remind me if I don't get it done before that deadline. Yes, this is required. I can attach extra documents that may be unique to this, or I can write a description of what I want to be done in here, which is particularly useful if you are using a transaction coordinator or an assistant to give them instructions as to what the expectations are. And then I'm going to hit save. And what happens now is this shows that 3 days after the listing, a required task of submitting the transaction room to the broker for approval has to occur, and it shows you who has to do it. Now that's my checklist, and I just do that for any and all checklists that I want. The cool part about this is, let's say you're been doing this for a couple months, you're like, man, I really need to remember to send something to somebody, or I want to make sure that I add this language, or I want to double check on an escrow deposit. You just go back to templates, add that task to the template, and now in the future, anytime you do that, you'll have it there. So that's a brief overview of checklists and templates. I find them incredibly important to keeping me on task, making sure I don't forget anything. It takes the load off my brain to know that I have these checklists here and have a nice organized place to do this, to assign things to people, and make sure all my forms are up to date. So tune in more. There'll be more videos about Zipforms and some other really cool and lesser known items in it that are really, really good for keeping you on track. Zipforms is a great product. It's an NAR member benefit and something that our company has espoused over the years. I just wanted to make sure you knew that this was there to help you in your business. Keep track of us, subscribe to my videos, subscribe to my our newsletter, or watch the videos as they come out in your email inbox, and we'll be giving you some more tips and tricks on Zipforms. Thanks for watching.